Hello and welcome to Diksha Karnataka YouTube channel, and today in our channel I am going to discuss something which is very important. So if you are thinking that you just open your PYQs and solve PYQs without analyzing them, then you are making a mistake. So what I was doing in the past few years, I was just opening the books, solving them without realizing the pattern. Basically, generally what we do chapter wise PYQs without realizing much about the pattern of the overall paper. So that's why I have decided, okay, let me open last 5 years whole papers, collect them. I collected from some from internet, some from some books. Okay, I had last 2 years paper with me shared by the students directly. So last 3 years, actually last 3 years I have directly shared by the student papers, and 2 years I collected from internet. So then I realized that there are some few patterns that is emerging every year. Okay, so after analyzing this, I am happy that I am going to share with you all these 5 patterns. Okay, and after watching this entire session, I hope that you will be more aware that what type of questions, what is expected out of you in the KCET exam. That is super duper important. It's not about how many chapters you have completed, how many theories you have completed, but from where the theory questions are coming, from where the numericals are coming. So those are important points that you need to understand and focus only on those parts. So that's what I am going to discuss in today's session. So it is basically, no one will talk about this kind of patterns. They will say, this is an important topic, this is an important chapter, this part is important, etc. So the pattern, knowing the pattern is very important. So I have solved 5 years papers, 300 questions. I have tried to solve it and understand it. Now, one very important point, that in this session I have specifically skipped questions. I am not adding any questions. I'm just discussing the pattern. I tried to do the same thing with the questions as well. The video would have been very long. So I am not doing the questions. If you want question wise analysis as well along with this, which was supposed to be part of this video, but then it will be very long. You will say, sir, you made a 1 hour video on only the pattern. I did not understand anything. So if you understand this, let's move on, and questions I might discuss in another session, right? So be aware of that, and that's why I'm saying that don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you want such kind of videos in and that should encourage you and make you better prepared for your KCET 2027. That is the main goal, right? So what I have done with 300 questions, I have collected the papers, okay, tagged every question from chapter, which chapter, PUC year, and one extra column. Almost nobody records how many steps it will take to solve. Okay, so how many steps you need to solve that question. Okay, maybe one level formula, a second level solution, that's it. Okay, sometimes maybe one formula, get a value, second formula, put that value, solve it. Okay, so there are 2-3 steps involved, or some cases it will maybe direct step. You know the theory, you answer it quickly, move on. Okay, now counted what repeats, what type of questions are repeating every year, not what feels important. Remember, if you feel that this chapter is important, it's not what is good. You need to understand what topics, what questions, or what concept is getting repeated year after year in KCET. The repetition of the concepts are important. Okay, so basically question skeleton remains same. So from inside, if you take out my bones and everything out, my skeleton will remain same. They will add fresh meat every time. Okay, they will just change the look and feel of the question. So that means that will look like a new question. In reality, that is not a new question, that is a recycled question. Okay, so recycle question in the sense that the skeleton of the question remains same, only the outside, the dress up has been new. You can say that you have done a little bit of makeup on yourself and you looks different. That's it, right? So let's see. So now in KCET exam, many students always say that, sir, you say 60 questions in 60 minutes. In KCET exam, I have seen that 60 questions are given and I was given 80 minutes of time. So why, sir, you always say 60 questions in 60 minutes? So remember, I will give you a practical aspect of this as well. Out of this 80, remember that 10 minutes you are not even allowed to open the question paper. It is basically given to you to read the instructions at the front page of the question paper, and you have to fill a OMR sheet. In the OMR sheet you have to fill your roll number, okay, question paper code, paper code, your roll number, so which and which code you are answering, etc. paper number. There will be a paper code as well, ABCD. There will be a question number as well. So everything you have to write it down, and that's why you are going to get 10 minutes at the beginning of the paper. So those 10 minutes you are not allowed to open the question paper at all. So out of 80, 10 minutes is gone, so you are left with 70 minutes. Now in this 70 minutes you have to basically solve each and every question and then bubble the OMR sheet as well. So do not discount on the time required to bubble the paper. I will explain how you can get that. So this 70 minutes is the actual time where you are solving as well as bubbling the OMR sheet. So this is the real situation. Now one very important point about the KCET exam is that there is no negative marking, be it physics, chemistry, maths, biology, whatever subject you appear, there are no negative marking. So answering wrong will not get penalized like it happens in NEET and JEE exams. Okay, so same syllabus as the national exams. So mostly whatever syllabus you are studying for your PUC, the same syllabus is there for KCET as well. Okay, the function is slightly different, the scoring mechanism is different. Okay, now let's see the pattern 1. The pattern 1, if you see that, initially students used to think that most of the questions are from PU2, and it was correct also. Okay, 50 some year, 50 before last 5 years, if you go a little bit older also, for 50, 48, 49, these many questions used to come from PU2. Now if you see the pattern, what happens is that in 2022, 49 question came from PU2, 11 question only came from PU1. So you think that, okay, 11 question, even if I guess over can answer few of them, I am happy. My main focus is on 49 questions. So that's what 2023 students thought, and now when they appeared in the question, they got 45 questions from their PU2 and 15 questions from their PU1. Still many people thought, okay, still it is okay, 15 questions, 5 to 6 questions I will be able to answer anyway, remaining 10 questions we will guesswork. So that's what the people of 2024 thought. So 2024 people thought, okay, so this is basically your PU2 questions. This is the number of questions that came from your PU2 chapters. This is the number of questions that came from your PU1 chapters. So now after in 2024, people realized, okay, 4317, now I cannot ignore my PU1, and that exactly happened in 2015, 40 questions, 19 questions, and one experimental question which does not directly fall between PU1 and PU2, is a mixed question. So those many questions came in your 2025, and in 2026 the split is very clear that 20 questions from PU1, 40 questions from your PU2. The board is saying, okay, go and study your PU1. PU1 is also important. Why you are ignoring your PU1? So that message is clear. So you first of all, you cannot ignore PU1. What many seniors might tell you that, oh, PU1, you are appearing for KCET, PU1 does not matter, because for them at that point of time maybe that was true, but as the year progresses, in the last 5 years, the weightage of PU1 increases a lot. Okay, so if you see that from 18% to 33% of the paper is now PU1, okay, and PU2 weightage decreased significantly, 49 question to 40 question. Okay, the ratio is roughly 2:1. What does it mean? That 1 in 3 question is actually from your PU1. questions track based first PUC syllabus, the year most aspirants finished long ago and never open again. So you finished it, or maybe you just go through it once during your PUC 1 final exam, and then you never opened it, you never understood the concept, you just memorized few questions, you memorized few derivations, you got good marks in PUC and you thought, okay, PUC 1 I am good with. Actually, in reality, your preparation is not done. So that is very, very important. Now in PUC 1, what are all the important chapters that you should always study, not because of the weightage of the chapters, because they are conceptually important. That is super duper important thing to know. Conceptually important means that, for example, units, measurement and errors. From this chapter, we expect only one question to come directly, but the concept of dimensions will may be applicable to a chapter in electrostatics or maybe in current electricity as well. So if you know what is dimension, what is units, etc., then you will not fall for any of the traps. So that's why it is a very fundamental chapter, foundation of your KCET exam. So you cannot skip it. Next, motion in a straight line. Again, from this chapter also we get one question, but you cannot skip this chapter as well, because from this chapter also you are going to get lot of foundation. Okay, this is the equation of motion, okay, graphs, etc., the foundation built on this chapter. Now laws of motion and friction, from this chapter you can expect 2 questions. Very, very, very foundational chapter. Okay, gravitation also 2 questions. Okay, work energy power is easy, rotational motion is slightly difficult, so based on your choices you can pick any one of them. Next, oscillations and waves, easy chapter, and combining both chapter you are going to get 2 to 3 questions. Okay, thermodynamics and kinetic theory, again easy chapter, you are going to get 2 to 3 questions combining these 2 chapters as well. Okay, the most under revised third syllabus and also the easiest. So these are the easiest, as well as questions do keep repeating from these chapters, they are foundationally important as well. Now next is, most questions are exactly one step deep. Means most questions out of 60, around 50-55 questions, you just require one step to solve it. You don't require 5-10 step or 20 steps. Yes, I am calculating, say calculation is one step. Okay, inside calculation you are doing 2-3 steps, that is okay, but one formula, one calculation, that's it, right? So recall the formula, substitute the value, mark the bubble, that's it. So recall the formula, understand and remember the formula, put the values inside the formula and then solve it, and you are done. So that's it. So one step, only one step, if you solve it, the answer is done. What else do you want from KCET, right? So if you solve only one step, your answer is done. Next, a wire is stretched, for just an example, a wire is stretched to twice its length, its new resistance is. If you know there is a shortcut formula, that is, it will be N square R, just put that and answer is done. Right? In some cases formula may be little lengthy, some cases formula is just as easy as this one. So obviously if the formula is lengthy, you need to put a lot of values. Okay, if formula is just small, less number of variables, less number of values, so but it is basically one step only. Maybe it is slightly given to you in a complicated fashion, but remember, most of the KCET questions require only one step. Okay, now what students actually solve, especially some of the books that is available in the market, there it is very common trick is that there are multi-step questions. Okay, multi-step question means you have one formula, from this formula you get a value, use that value into the second formula, from the second formula you are using the value to the third formula, and then you are getting the final answer. So that is a 3-step. But those kind of 3-step problems are not coming in KCET. Maybe one question or maximum 2 questions every year. You will not be able to answer them anyways, because of the time constraint. I am not doubting your capability, but because of the time constraint, you will not be able to answer those questions that require a lot of time. So you can guess those answers and move on, and focus on the questions that you will be able to solve within the given time, right? So do not practice 3, 4, 5 chains built for different exam. So this is a JE pattern. 3, 4 concepts chains are JE patterns, okay, or 2, 3 concept chains are NEET pattern, okay. But KCET is only one chain, one step answer. Okay, so a block on an inclined plane with a friction over a pulley to a spring, etc. So there is a block, there is a pulley, there is a spring. So these kind of questions are linked question, chain question. You cannot solve it on its own. You have to solve backwards and get your answer. So those questions are not gonna come in your KCET. Okay, so difficulty is not the barrier in this paper, but how quickly you can remember, how quickly you can put the values and solve it, that's the skill that you need. Speed, accuracy is what you need, and for speed and accuracy you need to remember things properly, recall things properly, okay, and then you should be able to answer these questions. Next, what? Okay. So the theory questions come directly from textbook. This is another super duper important point. So you are someone who is ignoring your NCERT textbook. Do not do that. You always keep asking me, sir, what book to follow for question practice? What book should I follow? Follow NCERT. Okay, the theory question, which is about 30%, sorry, not 30%, around 50% of the paper, around 30 questions directly theory questions. Okay, 30 questions, 25 to 30 questions usually are directly theory questions, and for that the only book that you need to study is your NCERT textbook, nothing else, right? So definitions and statements. Now NCERT textbook also, what you should study from NCERT textbook: definitions and statement, laws quoted by a name, okay, SI definitions, conditions under which the result is true. Okay, so so for example, the limitations of Ohm's law, limitations of Coulomb's law. So those are the things that you need to study. Next, which statement is correct? So statement based questions are very popular, okay, especially last few years. 4 textbook sentences, 1 quietly altered, recognition, not derivation. So here also you have to identify 4 statement will be given from your textbook, 1 will be slightly changed, okay, and then you will be confused that okay, which statement is correct, which statement is wrong. That kind of questions are also super duper common. Okay, now properties and comparisons. So properties of certain materials, properties and comparison between materials or things, that is also very common. So which quantity is a scalar quantity, which quantity bends more, which device does what. So these are the things that is also being asked in your KCET exam. Okay, so your PUC textbook is basically your main weapon. If you finish that book, then your 99% preparation is already done. You need to put on a little bit more. So theory revision, obviously theory portion for 99% of your theory is done, right? In 1% is revision. So if you do the revision, then you will be 100% ready. Now that's what I'm saying, that same skeleton, a new wrapper. So your dressing is changed, okay, but the skeleton inside the question, skeleton is basically what is inside, right? So the concept or the idea required to solve a question remains same, just the outside looking changes. For example, an earlier year the question came, escape velocity from Earth is 11.2 km per second. Find it for a planet of the same density and twice of the radius. Okay, so find the escape velocity for a planet having same density as Earth but twice the radius of Earth as well. Now 1 year later the question, same question came, a planet has 4 times the mass and twice the radius of the Earth. Okay, find its escape velocity. So it's the same formula will be same, concept is same, only the language is different. Here escape velocity of Earth is given, here you have to take that as 11.2. that's it. Okay, same formula, same single step, new numbers on the front. So numbers changed, okay, language changed a little bit, but the concept of the question, core of the question remains same. Okay, so file your PYQs by the relation they test, not by the chapter. So you need to check that. Okay, so from this you can understand that escape velocity is an important concept for your KCET. So you need to understand what are the important concept that is coming year after year, every year. Okay, so this is the pattern that you need to understand. Okay, next, this paper does not measure how deeply you understand physics. You need to understand this. Okay, the You are not supposed to learn too deep into the concept. Everything has to be too deep. All the basics are clear, everything too deep. No, not required. You don't need to learn too deep into a concept. Okay, you just need to do how fast you can retrieve the concept that you have studied. Okay, so the deepness of the concept is not required. It only requires how quickly, how fast you can retrieve your information that is there in your brain. If you studied it, it is already in your brain, in your memory drive. So how fast you can read your memory drive, that is the challenge. That's how the KCET exam checks you. Right? The marks you lose are not lost on hard questions. Remember this, trust me on this. They are lost on the 12 easy questions at the end that you never reached. So if you are solving too slowly, you will be left out with a lot of questions to read at the end. You will just have a time to just glance at it, and you will just blindly do some guesswork, and most of them will turn out to be wrong. So you need to read and solve every questions in time. That is the end goal of our journey, right? So because 6 hard questions ate your clock with 0 negative marking, and unreached question is only genuinely wasted mark in the exam. So that's why I'm saying that if there are 5-6 difficult questions, you can skip those difficult questions. Focus on remaining easy questions. Difficult questions you tackle, even out of there are say 10 difficult questions, even if you get time to tackle 5 of them, that is enough. But do not waste the time on them from the beginning. You take those 10 questions at the end of the paper when you have solved all the remaining questions. Then you are good to go. You already know that, okay, I have already answered 50 questions, remaining 10 questions. Let me see how many of them I can solve. If I am not able to solve, then I will do some guesswork and I will leave. But easy questions, first priority, you should not leave them. That is one very, very important point. Now, as I mentioned that you are going to get 80 minutes of time in your exam. Okay, out of the 80 minutes, 10 minutes is for your reading the question paper, filling up the initial OMR sheet. Till then you are not even allowed to open the question paper, right? Then after 10 minutes, next I have assumed that 5 minutes you require to fill up the answers in the bubble. Okay, in the form of bubble, right? You have to bubble the page OMR sheet. So when you are doing the filling up the OMR sheet, at that point of time you require at least another additional 4-5 minutes to bubble the sheet once you have solved the paper. So in reality, you are going to get only 65 minutes to solve 60 questions. Okay, 65 minutes to solve 60 questions. Each question is basically 65 seconds only. Okay, each question is only 65 seconds. So that is super duper important. You need to remember, within 1 minute 5 seconds maximum I should be able to solve questions. If you are not, then you are lagging behind. Some people who are slightly ahead of you, they will overtake you and they will go ahead. You should not want that, right? So you need to practice this. That is one super important thing that you need to remember. Okay, 3 minutes on question costs 3 other questions. So if you spend 3 minutes on a question, that means you are falling behind and you are not able to answer 3 other questions which could have been solved. Okay, so that's the trade never worth of making. So if you are thinking the question is difficult, skip it, move on to the next question. Later on I will check if I am able to solve that or not. But because of solving one question, if you are missing 3 other questions, that is a bad trade. Next, run 3 passes, not 1. Okay, so every question you can finish under 45 seconds. That should be your first question, first attempt. Okay, so circle anything needing setup more than more time. Okay, so target 35 to 30 marks banks. For first 30 to 35 marks you have to secure it. That you can do, easily do. 35 to 30 marks you can easily get in within 20 minutes. First 20 minutes 30 marks can be secured if you are fast enough. Okay, now work, return to the circled numericals chapters first, cheapest first, means easiest first. Okay, abandon anything unresolved after 90 seconds. So if you are not able to solve any question after 90 seconds, leave it, never come back, guess the answer, move on. Okay, so this is just 1 mark. Even if you are leaving one question, that is still 1 mark. So do not waste too much time, more than 90 seconds on a question. Clear? The easy questions you answering first, difficult questions you take up later. But when you are taking up that, do not waste more than 90 seconds. If you think that okay, I am getting somewhere, do it. If you think that okay, I am still not confident, I am still not getting somewhere, skip it, move on to the next question. Okay, last but remember, very important point, transfer the OMR carefully, then fill every remaining bubble, 0 blanks leaving the hall. So your main target will be, when you are answering the 60 questions, no matter whether you have able to solve them or not, okay, even if you are not able to solve them, you have to bubble the correct answer for that. Okay, so that is a guess. Okay, there are few ways to guessing as well. I have done one small video last year. We will be making one more video maybe in future as well, how to guess scientifically, so you can check that out in future as well. Okay, so no negative marking means a blank is strictly worse than a guess. So you might guess it, you might get a correct answer, but if you don't guess it, basically you are leaving that marks for everyone else to take it. Right? Now, revise the way paper is written. Very important. One sheet, read daily. Compare every relation to few pages and read every morning. Retrieve is a trained reflex. Okay, so you need to read 1 page every day at the morning. Okay, tag by steps, not chapter. Short solve questions into 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. Your weak pile not be a chapter. So you should not be solving questions like this chapter, that chapter, which is something new I realized, and I think you should also start implementing it. You should understand this is a 1-step question, this is a 2-step question. You should mark them whenever you are solving a question paper, question bank, or maybe any test series. By the way, if you are wondering, we have launched our test series. The link is given in this description section video as well. You can join the test series. You will get a lot of questions to solve as well. So whenever you're solving it, you need to remember, is it a 1-step question or 2-step question or 5-step question? Okay, read the textbook aloud. The theory questions are near verbatim, so silent skimming will not put those sentences into recall. Okay, so when you are, this helps to some people. If you are reading the book loudly, actually it is auditory and hearing learning. Okay, so you are hearing from your ears and reading from your textbook, so that means basically it's a double learning. So it helps you to remember things clearly. If you are only reading silently, then your auditory nerves are not getting activated. So this is one theory that you can use and try. Okay, always time the set. So whenever you are answering, the timing is very, very important. 60 questions in 70 minutes. Every session, untimed practice trains the wrong skill. So very important point. People are not asking you to solve the questions in a detailed fashion. People are only asking you to solve the question in the quickest fashion. So that is the difference. If you know how to solve quickly, you need to practice with timer. So practicing with timer is super duper important for preparation of KCET paper. Okay, 3 things you can safely stop doing. So what things you are doing wrong that you can stop doing it? First of all, stop grinding as advanced multi-level problems. You don't need to solve difficult anti-level and higher level questions, because those questions are not coming. Stop postponing class 11th to later. So whenever you try, you have to start your PUC1 as soon as possible. Revising the PUC1 is very important, so do not skip it. Start parallelly along with your PUC1, PUC2 preparation as well. Okay, stop leaving questions blank. So whenever you answer, try to, even if you don't know the answer, leave it blank. Do not leave it blank. You should guess and move on. That is the main thing. Cutting this buys hours to make the 3 passes automatic. Okay, next, the 5 pattern in one screen. So 2 cluster on the chapters. Okay, some chapters are important, some PUC1 is important, PUC2 is not that important. one step deep. So understand the questions which are one step. Okay, theory is verbatim. So when you are studying, not only study, you also have to read the textbook. That will help you to retain memory better. Okay, skeletons repeat. So questions in KCET, exact questions do not repeat, but skeleton of the question or concept of the question do repeat year after year. So that is also a super duper important point that you need to remember, right? So these are the 5 most common pattern that I have found in the previous 5 years paper that I have reviewed. Now if you want a detailed question wise analysis, just mention in the comment section that, sir, I also want a question wise analysis, that which year, or maybe give us some examples that how the question is getting repeated year after year, so that I can do in future videos. But for that you have to mention in the comment section below that, sir, we want question wise analysis as well. Now another point is that, first of all, you have to subscribe to our channel through this video so that you don't miss out on any updates, and that also gives me confidence that, okay, I told you that I will do more videos on question wise analysis. So if you are subscribing to this video, that will give me the mileage to do that video as well, right? So give me a thumbs up and obviously subscribe to our channel and mention in the comment section whether you want question wise analysis or not. I'll be back with more such informative and bombasting videos that no one is doing, no one is talking about. So do not forget to subscribe. Till then, bye.